Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing rice and beans, but instead of using red kidney beans like I've done before at the show, I'm going to be using black beans. Take a look at it. Isn't this dish so beautiful? I promise once you learn how to make this, you're going to love it, and it's so easy to make. You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
You can make with just a few items, okay? And you can still have delicious menus and meals that'll satisfy the entire family.
What I have here is 1 pound of black beans. I don't need the whole thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and measure out 1 cup. So we're starting off with 1 cup of uncooked black beans, and I'm dumping it in this colander because I want to get them washed off. I remember as a child growing up in Belize, I used to have to help pick the dirt and the stones out of the beans, but not here in America. The beans are pretty clean. So I'm dumping it in this big pot, and then I start off with 4 cups of water and then another 4 cups because I know that's not going to be enough. And set it on the stove on high fire. This is what I add to my beans: onion, cilantro, and garlic. You can add other stuff if that's what you like, but that's what I happen to like. And I don't even like a whole lot of garlic, so just a little bit. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to show you guys how to measure, okay? From the tip of the finger to this first line is 1 inch on the ruler, and it goes for women's finger and men's finger. This is Joe's finger right here. And I'm going to get into this later though, okay? It's 7:30 right now, and the beans are boiling pretty fiercely. And so I want to check on them so that they don't burn. I'm going to add a little bit more water, and I start off with 4 cups. And I do this consistently throughout the whole time that the beans are cooking. You know, normally I would put this in my slow cooker overnight, but I want to show you guys how to make all this from scratch today, okay? So they're boiling again, and I keep checking on them about every 20 minutes to every half hour and keep adding water as I go along. And here, this is 2 hours later. They're done for rice and beans, but they're not done for stewed beans, okay? So I've etched a line onto my wooden spoon for the 1 inch mark. See right here, if you don't have the ruler, you can use your finger to do it. I'm squeezing the beans to make sure that they are really done. Now it's time to measure the rice, and I use the scoop and shake method, and I always use long grain rice because short grain rice will make your rice and beans mushy. I've washed the rice. I'm using 2 cups so far. Dump it in the beans. And no, I'm not going to cook the rice and beans in this glass bowl, guys. I'm just using this bowl because I want you guys to see when I measure. The bean to rice ratio is not accurate, so I'm adding another cup of rice. I've washed it, and now it's just a matter of stirring to see the water level or the liquid level. And I'm opening a can of coconut milk, but I'm not going to use the whole can for this dish because I'm also going to show you guys how to make this dish from beans in the can. So I'm adding only half of the coconut milk and stirring it around. And I want to start measuring now before I start adding water. So I want you guys to see that the tip of the spoon is going to touch the top of the rice, okay? And if you notice, the water did not reach the line, so we don't have enough liquid. Don't do this. Don't shove the spoon down into your bowl or your pot because that's not accurate. So here I'm adding a little bit of water, and you want to add the water a little bit of time as you measure. If you add too much water, just go ahead and bail some back out, all right? So now it's almost there, but a little bit more water, and here we are. We're at the correct level. And now I'm just going to stir to make sure that the bean to rice ratio is accurate. And then I'm going to dump this all back into the same pot that I boiled the beans in because I want you guys to see something. Remember that the water level was accurate just now, right? We'll take a look now. It's no longer accurate, but that's because the pot that I'm using is wider. So that's why you always want to measure that 1 inch above the rice level. Add some spice, some salt, some black pepper. You can add other stuff. This is what I happen to like. Set that aside because I want to show you how to do it from a can. So I'm just going to open a can of this popular brand. I'm not going to say the brand. And I'm dumping it into the pot with the broth. And then I start off with 2 cups of the washed long grain rice, dumping it in here. Stir it around. And now it's a matter of adding the rest of that coconut milk. And you're going to want to add spice to this too, like salt and pepper. But, you know, add that to your taste. So now here we start measuring. You're going to do the same thing again. And now we want some water because it wasn't quite right. This is a different size pot, so you have to measure the 1 inch the same way, okay? Invest in this. This is called a simmer ring. I got it from Amazon. It comes with this beautiful wooden handle that's not going to last very long after you start using it, maybe 2 usage. And this is what they're going to look like after you use them. They're going to get black like this, and the handles are going to go away, but it doesn't matter. They still work, okay? So This is what we do. Whenever you're cooking any type of rice, couscous, or anything that's, grainy like that, you want to go ahead and set this on the open flame, especially if you're using a gas stove. You won't use it if you're using an electric stove, okay? So put this on to the fire, and there's something mathematical that happens. It diffuses the fire or something to that degree. So I put the big pot there. That's the one with the rice or the beans from scratch. This one in the front is the beans from the can. And we're getting it started. In about 20 minutes, the water will boil out, and all I want to do is stir with a serving fork and then put the lid on and cut the heat down to medium. This is the one that started off as beans in the can. I've moved it over to this side of the stove because I just didn't have enough space for these two big pots to fit with how close the burners were. I'm stirring with the fork here too. And I'm going to put the lid on and let that cook some more. This is 20 minutes later, so this is 40 minutes in after we added the rice, okay? Stir again, put the lid on, and then go back to checking on this one. They're both moving at the same pace, so I'm trying to keep up, all right? So I put the lid on this one too, and then I go back to check on this one 15 minutes later, so a little bit shy of an hour. It's done. I cut the stove off. Check on this one. I don't know where I've put my serving fork, so I'm just using a regular dinner fork. And this is done too. So let's take a look. See, they're both here. They both look lovely, don't they? When you cover the pot while it's still hot, you're going to have this evaporation. This water that's dripping back into the rice and beans will cause it to go bad. So this is a little trick that I learned from my mom. Put a piece of paper towel, and then the towel will soak up all that water and your rice will not go bad, okay? So let's measure. I have 1 cup, 2 cups, and remember this is the pot that we did from scratch. Here is cup number 6. And then 7 cups, and then 8 cups. See, this is how much I got from that pot. Now the stuff that's left behind in the pot, Belize people call this rice bun. Me not like no rice bun, so I'm leaving it in the pot. What I said is that I don't like the burnt part of the rice, so that gets left behind. Now let's measure the next pot. This is the one where we started off with the beans in the can. This is 1, and then here comes number 2, and then this is number 5. And then 6. So I only got 6 cups from this one, okay, while I got 8 from the other one. Take a look at it. See how the rice grains are cooked through and through? Awesome. All right, so because I've done rice and beans several times at the show already, I really had to take the time to break it down for you, to show you exactly how to measure that water, to show you the math of it, to know that if you're using a smaller pot, the water that you measured may not be the same as if you're using a bigger pot. I don't know why that works like that because I don't know enough math, but I do know that makes a difference. So that's why when I taught you guys before, I say measure from the tip of your finger to that first line where you bend your finger. And a lot of people say they do that and it works, but if you don't want to stick your finger in the food because you're grossed out by that or something, then just get the ruler, and you don't even really need the ruler. If you get like a wooden ruler, you could stick it in the pot, that'd be fine. I wouldn't put a plastic one because it might melt when the beans are hot. But you can just go ahead and measure from there to there. And if you notice, for men and women, it's the same thing because I use Joe's finger on one of the measurements. And then etch it onto like a nylon spoon or a wooden spoon. So you can have your mark and you can always test your water level and you will never go wrong with rice. That goes for brown rice and it goes for white rice too, okay? But for brown rice, the mark is a little bit higher. Instead of that first notch, it's at the other notch on your finger. But we'll get into that in another time. So I also wanted to show you guys that you can make the beans from scratch and you can also get the beans from the can. If you notice, the one that was in the can was a little bit different color than the one that I made from scratch. The one that I made from scratch looked a little bit richer, but I really do think it has something to do with I had a little bit more beans to rice ratio in the thing, but I like my rice and beans to look rich. So maybe when you do the one from the can, instead of putting the 2 cups of rice, you could put maybe 1.5 cups. So, but I think they both came out fantastic. I hope that this helps you when you want to make some rice and beans, and you can show off on your friends to see how easy it is, and you be sure to tell them that Barbara at the Bear Pantry Show showed you how to make it, okay? Because rice and beans has kicked my rear end for so many years, and Joe is like the rice and beans whisperer. He knows how to do it. He knows how to solve the problem if it's not cooked, if it's, oh my goodness, he's so good at it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you like it, please hit the thumbs up. Please share it for me. And until I see you guys again, take care. Thank you so much for liking the video and subscribing. Please check out my other 2 channels, the product review channel, Bear Pantry Talk, and come have some fun with my family and me over at the vlog channel, Babs Bear Talk.